Welcome to the next episode of the GLC Show. We had a lot of exciting stuff going on last episode when we talked about the Spider-Man PS4 game. What a great game. You guys should go check out that video. This week we are talking about the very good Rogue One, a Star Wars story. The impeccable, lovely movie that is Rogue One. Impeccable. That...
Big words.
Absolutely destroys episode 7 and 8, in my opinion. And probably is one of the best Star Wars movies out there. But that's what we're here to talk about. We're debating, not necessarily debating, but talking about what we liked about the movie. We all just got done watching it about an hour ago so that we were all nice and fresh. And that our brains were ready to talk about this.
And I can actually talk about something this time, so it's great.
Yeah, and Emily can actually talk about it because she watched the movie.
Second time.
And knows.
Almost.
Pump it up.
So, all right, well, let's just jump right into it. We got some people on our live stream right now on Instagram. Woo! Shout out to you guys.
Champs.
Shouts.
Go ahead, and if you want to, you can... ask questions on that live stream, and Emily will, if it's a good question or if it's a good comment, Emily will announce it during the show, and we'll talk about it, and we'll try and answer to the best of our abilities. So Go ahead and do that.
Do it. Ask us all the questions.
Yeah, so Rogue One. Super good movie.
Take it away, pal.
Super good movie. I'll just start off. I'll start us off. Just kind of, I got a list here of a few things that I really loved about the movie, and then feel free to just stop me and we can talk about it. So number one, I feel like the cinematography in this movie is absolutely phenomenal. And what I mean by that is not necessarily plot line, which was also good, but just the way that it was filmed. All the camera angles, all the big wide open shots when they're in space, like the ships, all that stuff. Super good stuff. Yeah, that was good.
I mean, I had to work late, so I came for the last 20 minutes of the movie, and even for that, so I don't know everything, but the stuff when they're above Scarif, with the Star Destroyers and all that kind of stuff, it looked so good even at that. So I can attest to just that part of it.
Is that cinematography or more?
It's pretty.
CGI.
Well, you have CGI, but
the way the CGI is
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not a film guy, so but more specifically, the camera angles and the way that they filmed the live action stuff, I guess, was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I know that for the original trilogy, there was no CGI; it was all practical effects. So the stuff when they're in space or whatever, it's all that's like toys they use basically. So. And I know that at least for The Force Awakens, J.J. Abrams tried to use as least amount of CGI as possible. So
right.
All the aliens, that kind of stuff. And at least The Force Awakens, they were all costumes, just like back in the day. So I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't CGI for the Star Destroyers. Maybe for all of it, at least the Star Destroyers themselves, because those look really good. So
in Rogue One.
Yeah, in Rogue One. So I mean, the planet's probably CGI below it, but
right.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Star Destroyers themselves were.
Yeah, those look absolutely real.
I'll look it up.
You do that.
I will do that.
Yes,
I will.
Should have done that pre-show.
I should. I'm sorry.
Didn't think about it. It's fine.
Going into CGI though, they also did a really good job with the CGI.
Yes.
It's by far some of the best CGI that I've seen in a movie, I think.
Yeah.
And if the Star Destroyers are CGI, they did a really good job with that. Some examples of really good CGI: the Death Star looks amazing. The one thing that I really loved is the destruction of Jeddah. When the first time that we see the Death Star being used in the movie, the scene when the Imperial army is above Jeddah and we're looking down on the destruction and the explosion of where the Death Star hit, and the almost Inception-like movement of the ground when the horizon lifts up.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get out of there was just amazing. You guys kind of disagree with me, but I think Tarkin didn't look very good.
He looked great.
I mean,
Talk about that.
yeah. So like I watched Rogue One when it first came, like the day it came out, like the Thursday premiere, and my stepdad grew up on the original trilogy, and he said that he was like, holy crap, like he looked exactly like he did back in the day. And then I watched one like after that at some point. I watched a couple since then, and I thought he looks like almost exactly like the same. I mean his face looks brighter than he did back in the day. I think it's just because of like
lighting and
that kind of stuff. But like
It helps if you talk with your mouth and not your cheek.
I'm sorry. I was just facing this way.
But like, I can't seem to find anything about there was a lot more. Apparently, there was a lot more CGI in Rogue One than there was in like The Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
Really?
They use a lot more, especially because there was a lot more like destruction that happens, like on Jeddah and Scarif, and that's all I can really find. But like, let me look up some comparisons because
That's interesting.
he looks like almost identical in my opinion to what he looked like back in the day.
The only reason why I think the CGI is kind of bad is because his face is bright all the way around versus like having shadows underneath your eyes and like around your cheeks that you would normally
That's
find.
what my problem with Leia was. She looked too
it was bad.
shiny.
That one was bad.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen Tron Legacy?
Yeah.
Like the CGI on Jeff Bridges when he was young, I thought that looked really bad.
I didn't think Leia was too bad.
But I think Tarkin.
I liked Leia more than
better.
Tarkin,
Okay.
I think
You
the
could
fact
argue
which
that
I guess is an unpopular opinion.
Leia was in a brightly lit spaceship
Yeah, it's true.
could have hurt.
I mean,
But
I think the hardest thing that CGIers, whatever,
CGIers.
special effects artists, but they have to work
as
with
opposed to flat earthers and
yeah, of course. But the thing that they, oh my gosh, the thing that they have the hardest time doing is like the mouth. And for me,
Yeah.
and for me, like I could totally tell in Rogue One at the end when she says her line or whatever that like her mouth just didn't move naturally.
Yeah, I thought it was worse with Tarkin.
What?
No,
I thought it was way worse
It was
with
awkward.
Tarkin.
She had like a 3-part smile. I was like
I can't find any good ones, but
I don't know. I definitely thought it was worse
because
with Tarkin.
I mean, if you want to see some really bad CGI, go watch Justice League. Because the mouth on Superman looks so bad.
Maybe we'll throw a clip of that.
Oh, it's so bad. Or
So we can make fun of it.
they're just bad pictures. There's just bad pictures.
DC is bad,
yeah.
except for The Dark Knight.
Rip episode
I watched
1.
I'm gonna go on a little rabbit trail here, but like I was watching a video about why The Dark Knight ruined the DCEU because The Dark Knight was so good that everything after it was trash comparatively.
That could be like a very good point. As everybody's thinking of those movies when they go watch DC movies, and it's not.
Yeah. But we're talking about Disney and Rogue One, so.
Also, my girlfriend just texted me because she's watching this. She said Justice League is crap. Thanks, Chrissy.
There was someone that's like,
Thanks, Chrissy.
Tell Grant I say go Cowboys. I'm like, all right.
Go Cowboys. I bet that was Alex.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Alex Dyke.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Alex, get out of here.
All right.
Back to
another
the topic.
another thing that I thought is really cool is Imwe or Sharut Imwe, the blind guy.
Just the shadows.
His character is just amazing. I think he's really cool.
Remind me who M was.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
The blind guy.
The blind guy. Okay, yeah.
I'm one with the Force, and the Force is one with me.
We need to bring that back.
I thought what was really awesome is kind of towards the beginning of the movie when he saved, like right as he's meeting Jin and Cassian, right when they're meeting each other, he kind of like saves them from the stormtroopers.
Right.
And I think one of the coolest things in the movie is when he like uses his senses and he like listens for like the foot movement of the stormtroopers and like them like getting on the trigger, like. And then he attacks. That's just that's so
he's
cool.
basically
It's very
Daredevil.
It's very Daredevil-esque.
Yeah, no. That totally
Speaking of Daredevil, we're going to talk about Daredevil next week.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
We'll be talking a lot about that.
Yeah.
And Levi can go ham on that episode.
Yeah, I have to literally watch the entire season in 1 week because I haven't started it at all.
I bailed on you guys and I watched it by myself.
Yeah, we're supposed to watch it, man.
Sorry.
Anyway,
Daredevil.
no, but what are you guys' thoughts? I've heard a lot of rumors that guy was like a Jedi at one point, and that's why he can do what he does is because he uses like the Force as his eyes, basically. Like, what do you guys think about that?
Anybody on the live stream, if you know about that, talk to us.
Yeah, man.
Look it up. Even Google it. Just talk to us, and we can talk about that if it comes up.
Or in the comments.
Yeah, comments below. If you know anything about Imwe, what his origin is, anything like that, we'd like to know. So
I know
I
it's
think-
cool.
Mom
It makes
and
me
dad.
happy when he's just like, "I'm the force is with me." Like,
I mean, and it made that scene so cool when he walks out to press that button,
Yeah.
and he just
Yeah.
like all the shots are just like missing him.
me and Levi were talking like when we were watching that scene when he gets to the lever, like he's all like, "Oh, I got there," and then like, what would happen if he just like got pegged in the head, like right before he pulls the lever?
Plugged.
Totally screwed.
Plugged.
But yeah, he's easily one of my favorite characters
Yeah.
in the movie, and I think the whole idea that he might be a former Jedi too is good
Makes
because
sense.
of his
Acrobatic stuff.
acrobatics, how he is able to use his staff.
And then
He uses it like a lightsaber.
Yeah, he
and-
uses it.
one thing
exactly
that I
like a
just
lightsaber.
thought of is that guy, that stormtrooper that he takes out, and then he gets to the other guy really quick.
Yeah,
he's wicked fast. I
Yeah.
mean,
definitely a
That's some
Jedi.
Jedi sprinting
Definitely full
right there.
I honestly think
He's also the only guy in the movie that believes in the Force.
yeah. Like I think
Yeah.
I honestly,
So-
personally, I believe he was a Jedi.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
still is, but like,
Yeah,
yeah,
He died.
past tense, he died. Yeah.
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 yeah,
He's not an is, he's a was.
Yeah.
He didn't do
Yeah.
the Luke Skywalker fade into nothing. He died.
Yeah, that was dumb by the way.
he didn't do the. I'm not feeling so good.
I don't feel so good, Mr.
I
Star.
don't feel so good, Mr. Star.
Different
Jen,
universes.
Jen, I don't feel
Bring
so
it
good.
back. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Any other characters that you guys kind of fell in love with?
I mean, I really like his. Bu-
I like all of them.
I mean, I really
That's
like
why
all
Rogue
of them.
One sucks because everybody dies.
But like, I actually really like his bodyguard guy. I don't remember his name. The guy with the big machine gun.
Yeah.
I really like him because
Oh,
throughout
man.
the whole
Starts
time,
with an R.
yeah, I don't remember his name.
Hold up, I got
Rocket Raccoon.
it. I got it.
Yeah, man. No, but like, throughout
What
the whole
was that
time,
face for?
Oh, I was just gonna. Sorry, I
Okay.
didn't mean to stop you. When
okay.
if you want to use one of the questions that was asked, you can pull it up in the live stream. Like since you had a question
Whoa.
poll, you can be like, "Oh, we're
I have the
responding
questions
to
right-
this
I have the-
question."
Baze.
I have the questions right here, and we will respond to those
His name
questions.
was
soon.
Baze.
Yeah,
How many viewers we got?
we got 3 people.
Hey, all
Hey.
three of you.
Woo!
We had 5 at
The
one
triangle is the strongest shape in nature. So,
point. So here we are.
3 wheels make a tricycle.
hey guys, but really, if
Boom.
you want to see more of this content, go ahead and make sure you subscribe to our channel because we need viewers, we need subscribers.
At
We
the GLC
need-
show.
This is
We need
most
confidence, that's
desperate,
why we're all
like, please subscribe to us, please.
We are a startup, but we are a good startup.
We have some
Kickstarter.
9 loyal
Kickstarter
subscribers
crap.
right
9
now.
loyal subscribers. Oh
Yeah.
my
9
goodness.
loyal
Um,
subscribers.
be part
who've
of
been
it.
You were talking
subscribed
about-
for 6 hours.
Yeah, I mean,
The dude.
mainly because like the whole movie, he's like, he's kind of like,
Baze.
is that his name?
Yeah.
Baze.
Baze.
Yeah. Because like the whole movie, he's like, yeah, the Force isn't real. It's like all hocus pocus and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then when he goes out and just like kills a bunch of the
Jiggery
Death
pokery.
Troopers. Oh, that jiggery pokery, that's right. But then when he goes out and kills all the Death Troopers or whatever, he's saying, "I'm one with the Force is with me." And I was just
Yeah.
like super cool to like. I guess he kind of like came around, or I think that it just made that moment cool because he was like, "Oh, this is all jiggery pokery," and then
Jiggery pokery.
yeah, it's a real word, bro.
Quote
It's
of the
word.
day. Is that a real
Look it up.
word?
It's a
It
legit.
means deceit.
It means like deceitful
Has
humbug.
anybody ever heard that word? I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever
If
heard
Khalil watches this show, yes,
Yeah, he'll freak out.
yeah,
Jiggery
But-
poker.
Cue the Khalil picture.
yeah. Boom.
Reminding himself for post.
Khalil Burton, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, I mean, I really like his character, and also, I mean, he was just awesome, just taking on everybody all the time, like with stormtroopers, and like,
Yeah.
it was just cool. But then also had that like cool little ending to him
Yeah.
at the same time. So
Yeah.
My hand's getting tired, guys.
I like,
Well,
I like all the characters.
You are having too much fun with this. Yes, we are.
Okay, speaking
said
of
that?
live stream, let's go ahead and answer some questions that our Instagram poll brought up earlier,
word.
and we can talk about them. First one, CAJW.
Colby.
He says this is the most boring Star Wars movie.
False.
The
I
most
disagree
boring-
with you, sir.
Bro, the most boring one is the Last Jedi. If you think about
Oh,
it,
yeah,
it's a space chase. It's
It's
a
a full
yeah.
hour and a
Hyperspace.
half of nothing.
yeah. If you think about the entire movie, it's just them chasing them super slowly. It's a game of tag.
Yeah.
It's a movie
Until
of
Yoda
tag.
shows up, that movie sucks.
I
Yeah.
hate that movie so much.
Um,
We'll talk about that. Another time.
I
The
don't-
sacred
I-
text.
I really disagree that this is a boring Star Wars movie. I mean, there's so many reasons why it's not boring. First of all, Vader. We don't you don't even need to watch the entire movie. You just watch the last
5 minutes.
5 minutes, and you got a not boring Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Because no other movie no other Star Wars movie has portrayed Vader like this. Like he is.
Did you watch The New Hope?
In Rogue One.
Yeah.
Rogue One, he's an actual villain.
Yeah.
And
Like at that last slaughter, it shows why everybody's afraid of Darth Vader.
Yeah. I love one line that he says when I forget his name.
He was in the white clothes, right?
Yeah.
The guy in the white.
Yeah.
Anyway, the director, I can't remember what his name is, but he's basically talking himself up, and he has these high aspirations towards himself, and Vader force chokes him, which is the dopest thing in that movie.
Because he doesn't even do this.
He doesn't even he's just standing there, and then you feel and you hear that bass boost drop thing, and then all of a sudden the director's just like what's going on, choking, and
so awesome.
It's so good because you don't see that in the other movies. Yeah. And one of the lines that Vader says is, "Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, director." And
it's still James Earl Jones.
It's so good. Him. James Earl Jones. They
better get all the Darth Vader movies of him in it done so that way they don't try and make another movie with Darth Vader and it'd be some random dude. I won't like it.
I will say that the character of Darth Vader in Rogue One made the movie for me. I think.
Really?
Because especially in the last fight scene when Vader kills all the rebels and they're passing on the Death Star plans. That when I was in the theater with two of my good friends when that came out, and as soon as that scene, it was Rogue One, great movie, amazing movie, but when that scene happened in the last 5 or so minutes, the whole theater blew up.
Yeah, it's insane.
It was amazing. So that's pretty not boring to me, I think. Also, the plot picks up pretty fast. You understand what's going on pretty quickly, and the reason why. Tell us.
Well, I fell asleep in the first 20 minutes, but then after that, once I'm awake, once I think where were they? Were they in Jeddah where all the fight stuff happened? Yeah. I think
Jeddah was the planet that got blown up.
Yeah.
Right?
So when they were in Jeddah, that's when I was like, okay, I'm awake now. It's not terrible, but the first half an hour is hard for me to stay awake.
You were asleep, so you didn't know how the plot developed.
I saw it before.
I'd already seen it, so I was watching I was watching fight scenes from Daredevil on Netflix.
Anyway, I was actually watching it, and
we have 12 subscribers, guys.
The plot developed pretty well.
Yeah.
It wasn't too fast, and it wasn't
it didn't feel rushed.
I'm trying to think of some movies where it takes forever to get to the point.
I mean, a movie, as much as I like it, Batman vs Superman, it's a slow movie.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's a slow movie.
Yeah,
and so so if you get out of here, but if you like slow movie, it just really depends. But yeah, it's a pretty slow movie, and I understand why a lot of people can't get, because the last hour of the movie is where it's what you came to see was them fighting or whatever.
Yeah.
But so that's an example of a slow movie. It's slow.
So definitely not a boring Star Wars movie. Our next question on Instagram was Kirsten Simon.
My cousin Kirsten. What up?
He says, since Disney, sorry. I think the word Simon, and then I think of he. She asks the question, since Disney took over Star Wars, what's the quality of the storyline? Before we answer that live stream, what do you think about that? Since Disney took over Star Wars, what is the quality of how they make the stories? And down in the comments, we want to hear your thoughts on that too. What do you guys think about that? What's the quality of Star Wars now that Disney has full reign?
Other than Last Jedi, I think it's good.
Other than Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You thought Force Awakens was pretty quality?
I liked Force Awakens, yeah.
I did too. I liked it. I mean,
it was good for a reboot.
No, I thought it was
definitely.
I mean,
Is it the best one? No.
No. It's not the best one, but I think it did a really good job of kicking it off again.
Oh, someone said Disney is superior to everything, therefore it is good.
I'm gonna guess that's my girlfriend.
And that's
Chrissy.
also false.
Yeah, it was.
Disney is awful.
No.
Disneyland is awful.
I would agree.
Don't at me.
Disney is superior to everything.
Disney has some.
You can stay pretty far from the mic.
I have some harsh.
My dude.
No.
Unless you're doing your famous Anyway,
I have some harsh words for Disney, but I'm not.
Well, considering Disney owns like every company ever,
Yeah.
that's a true statement.
Yeah, there's another one that said,
Watch-
I think it's amazing.
Watch Disney sue us for this. I wouldn't be surprised.
What do you guys think about?
Measly 12 subscribers.
Right.
What do you guys think
Take
about
us out.
Disney's take on The Last Jedi? Though, like I thought it was.
It was
There were some
brutal.
good parts, but there were mostly
I mean,
bad parts.
the throne scene.
Again, until Yoda
The throne
shows up,
scene
that
when they
movie's
kill
trash.
Snoke,
That was pretty good.
Oh
that
my
was
goodness.
bomb. That was such a good scene.
That is one of the best Star Wars. Like it's up like the Vader scene, throne scene,
Dude,
and
the
then
way
the
that
fight scene with
the way that
Anakin
Kylo
Obi-Wan.
works the Force to like decapitate him is just.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I
there
thought that
are-
was very good.
There are
very good.
cool parts of that movie, and when she like goes into hyperspeed and rips through it, and it's just like silent.
Oh yeah, dude, and the
whole
entire
theater.
those two scenes were the best scenes, and I think the only scenes that really made the movie good.
Yeah, like if it wasn't for those scenes, I probably wouldn't have seen it the few
Yeah.
times.
So overall, Disney is doing a pretty good job
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
over
Except
Star
for
Wars.
Last Jedi.
I mean, I
Um,
really
until
wish.
Yoda shows up.
We did talk about, and this is another question. Well, actually, this is a perfect segue. Bengenuity says, "Do you think the ending Darth Vader rebel slaughter scene should have been more violent?" And I think it could have been more violent, but I think Disney was kind of holding back, just to keep the rating down.
It's
So
pretty
more
rad.
people could watch it. Kids
Because
could watch it.
there's like a lot of like cuts away from things. Like it's
Yeah.
very choppy the way it's filmed.
Had they decapitated a rebel?
I mean,
Cut
yeah,
that dude on the ceiling in half.
like
let both
that was
halves
enough
fall
for him
down.
for him to. They could have, yeah, because like that guy easily would have been cut in half, but
Yeah.
obviously they didn't. They didn't
And it
show
probably has to do with Disney taking over,
With
that
the,
they're
like,
trying to keep
yeah.
it so kids could watch it.
Yeah.
The lack
because
of
if you-
violence doesn't show you how like brutally awesome like lightsabers are.
Right.
Except for
Yeah.
droids because it's just cutting up metal. But,
Right.
Like,
Yeah. No, those
can do
things
some
like
damage
go
to the
through.
person.
But
Things
I
easy.
mean, there's tons of movies that are like either Star Wars or hero movies that Disney has done that.
It's true.
pretty
They
crude.
have some higher ratings,
Yeah.
so they probably wanted it to be more of a family
Because
movie.
yeah,
It's-
because
I
like
mean,
Star
it's
Wars
Star
is
Wars.
such a huge.
Everybody loves
Yeah.
it.
You
Like
don't
kids love it.
you don't want to have
old
to have a
people love
rated
it.
R Star Wars movie.
Right.
No, you
That
don't
wouldn't
need
make
it.
any sense.
The ones that they have made rated R are good though, like Logan and
Logan,
superhero movies.
phenomenal.
yeah.
We'll talk about that too. We'll
For a
do
minute there, I thought you meant
honest
R-rated Star
review-
Wars movies, and I'm like,
honest
what are
review
you
of
talking
Logan.
I wish that'd be dope.
So yeah, I do think that the Darth Vader scene could have been a little bit more
Yeah.
brutal, but I think it was awesome anyway.
Oh, it's so awesome. Honestly, I just wish it was longer more than anything. Like,
Me too.
Like,
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, in terms
I
of my
don't think
complaints for it.
I don't think it'd be much more violent because like lightsabers are hot and they cauterize things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
there
like,
wouldn't be
there's
blood.
there's no need to add swear words to. Like,
Right. It
Well,
would just be
a
limbs
Star
coming
Wars.
off,
Actually,
I
It could
think,
be-
than
that's-
anything.
I think when you keep swear words out, it makes it more interesting. Because like you look at like a movie like The Dark Knight, not a single cuss
Maybe-
word,
Maybe one or two.
maybe
but
one or two, maybe.
nothing bad.
But like the Joker doesn't say anything bad
No.
no.
ever.
Well, he
but
says
he's
bad things, but,
but
no,
he's
not
still.
a bad
I mean, he
word.
talks
Yeah.
about like
killing people,
blowing up a troop, a bus full of soldiers,
blowing
and
up a
killing the mayor.
hospital, but
But he doesn't.
but
swear
like
or
as far as
anything.
like swear words and stuff,
and
there's
there's no
nothing.
blood in
Yeah.
that movie either.
It's not.
There
It's
is
not really
no blood.
gory,
Yeah.
but it's so creepy. And
Yeah,
so
I hate that
amazing.
movie for that reason, like how creepy the Joker is.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't even get through the first like 10 minutes.
No, I was like, all right, I'm done.
Fantastic movie.
Like-
Anyway, so yeah, I think definitely it could have been better
Yeah.
as far as gore goes, but I wouldn't say it
Right.
wasn't good.
It would just
was-
be more like limbs
Yeah.
coming
It was
off.
awesome.
of
It wouldn't be gory, is what I'm saying. Like the rated R
Yeah.
would be like depictions of grotesque violence, but like if a parent watches that, like if I was a parent and I saw like a dude getting like cut in half, or
Yeah.
something, I'd be like, oh, you
and
can watch
and the
this, no
reason
bite,
the
like,
reason why I thought it was so good, I think, is because Darth Vader was never depicted like that.
yeah,
Had he been depicted violently like that,
Before
it would have probably been so.
But the fact, yeah.
But this is the first time that
Insane.
he's ever been depicted like
And
that,
yeah, I mean-
which made it awesome.
I mean, and the thing is too, like, if you look at like a New
overtly
Hope-
violent because he does kill a couple people in the other ones.
right.
yeah, but it's only maybe kind of like one hand. how
Yeah,
many
it's like it's
kills.
force choking, but like this is like
But I mean,
baller
yeah.
status
But, like,
violence.
If you look at like a New Hope, the fight scene with Obi-Wan and with Ben Kenobi and Darth Vader, it's literally that. They
Yeah, I
don't
know.
move at all. And I was just like, that's like the one scene you really get lightsabers in that
Yeah.
movie. And that's what you get.
It's like a 1995 video game.
Yeah. I watched it when I was like, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 or something like that. I thought it was the most boring movie ever. And
Yeah.
then like part of that still makes it why I think actually New Hope is my one of my least favorites because it's just like not as exciting to me.
Right.
Or whatever. Just because it's like a boring movie in my opinion because I can't get that out of my head of me as a kid, like
Yeah.
thinking it was boring. But yeah, I mean the fight scene's like, psh,
Yeah.
and then
Kill me.
oh yeah, and then I'm done, and then
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so definitely a good scene. Is Sam still on that live stream?
Yes, I think so. Sam, you still here?
All right.
She commented before.
So
Which one are you gonna do? I
our
actually
last two questions come from S. Got.
Got.
Hello.
S underscore dot got. Sorry, Sam. First question, she says, do you think to be a Jedi that one of the parents also has to be a Jedi?
She's still here. Don't you worry. We're answering your question. What we think.
So, yeah. What do you guys think? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
And we don't really know. I mean,
We have a lot of
with theorizing.
theory,
We don't have
yeah.
any proof.
it's more
just
theory
theories.
than like proof.
and just examples of other
from the
things.
series.
Like
We just don't know.
I mean,
don't think
Luke's.
so.
I mean, obviously Luke's dad,
yeah.
Luke's pappy.
Luke's papa was
Darth
a was a
Papa.
Jedi, but
No, but I mean,
Papa, no.
but there's no talk, if I remember right, in the Phantom Menace of Anakin having like his mom wasn't wasn't a Jedi of any kind. And
there's no origin
really too.
really that we know.
Yeah, she said there's a debate amongst her family. That's why she wants an external opinion.
I would definitely say no. You could look back into like the non cinematic versions of Star Wars, like the TV shows,
Rebels
the
and Clone Wars.
cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably have more detail.
But I don't know much about that stuff.
Yeah, I
so
mean, and in The Last Jedi, one of the cool scenes actually in it was at the very end. The kid had the broom, and he like held out the broom, and the broom came to him. Remember that kid that was in that one slave town that Finn and Rose were in?
yeah.
And so, like, I mean, obviously, there's no
Rey?
that kid. No, it was Rose.
Yeah.
That Rose scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, but like, there's no obviously there's no backstory on that kid, but it's potentially he maybe didn't have parents who had the Force, but he did. So
I mean, look at Rey.
Yeah, there's no proof of that yet.
yeah,
Ray obviously has something going on with the Force.
obviously.
If she's able to,
Ben's
she has the
fine.
Force.
She did mind control on that.
But
that
we don't
stormtrooper.
we don't know
Her
her background.
I
We have
honestly
theories, but
I don't believe because Kylo Ren's like, you know who your parents were. They were junkers. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
yeah.
Could be the exact same thing as Luke.
Right.
Where his Uncle Ben and Uncle.
And that goes to another
Daddy or
question
whatever.
that S underscore got said. I've heard that Rey and Kylo Ren are related. What do you think about that?
I go back and forth.
Maybe.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Definitely possible. There's so many
I
theories.
think that'd be too cheesy though for two like twins, Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
born at
Also,
the
they
same
have
time
like
and
this
then
like
them.
weird love interest in
It's a
the
little
Last
weird.
Jedi. Where like,
I mean, there was that in the
Rey-
original trilogy. I mean, Luke and
Right.
Leia.
oh, that's
I mean,
true. That's true.
I mean,
Maybe they're bringing it back. I don't know.
Yeah.
incest
I didn't
is
even
Bring
think
incest.
back incest.
Never
Good
think about
job,
Yeah.
Disney.
But like, Kylo's like shirtless, and Rey's like,
Ben Swallow.
yeah, Ben Swallow.
So ripped.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely possible, but like from what we've seen on the big screen, we don't know.
Yeah.
There's different options and different theories about it, but we don't really know.
And I mean, they've got one more movie to tie this all up.
Yeah.
And there's
And then
there's
10
a
years from
lot.
now, they'll do another trilogy.
10, 11, 12.
God, I don't do that, Disney.
Please
Please.
don't.
I will
Don't
stop.
ruin
Leave this Star Wars.
anything else.
Leave the Skywalker story to an end here.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like,
Is Rey
man,
Skywalker wrong?
I just am not sure for episode. It'll be 9 then, right? Because there's so much need to wrap up. This movie's going to be a long movie, or it's
Yeah.
just not going to.
Two
Or
parts.
two
That's
parts,
what we're gonna get.
And
I
like,
think so.
I think I'm really. This is something that I've been mad about.
There's so much stuff they need to still go
Man,
through.
we can talk about this in another episode, but I'm just gonna plug it a little bit right here. So like, this is some good
Plug it.
stuff, some good content that you'll want to probably listen to.
Content.
Luke Skywalker, if he was gonna just like float away into nothingness, why didn't he go fight Kylo by himself, like in person? That would have been so dope. Like if it was actually Luke and Kylo.
Like there was no point of why he couldn't have.
Exactly.
'Cause,
If he was gonna die anyway.
Because I mean, if you think about it, it would have
Spoiler alert.
it would have added so much to Kylo Ren. If you think about it, he's killed Han Solo. Spoiler alert. He's killed his dad.
I
He's
love that we're
killed-
saying spoiler alert after the spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's killed Han Solo, and then he could have killed. He would have just off like three.
It would've
out of,
made-
like,
it
the
would've
fi- three-
It would have made
two out of the
Kylo.
three.
It would have made Kylo such a big villain.
Yeah,
He kills Han,
and killed Luke.
kills
Two characters.
Luke,
Two of the biggest characters in the Star Wars
the
universe.
like cornerstone characters of Star Wars.
But he only killed. I mean, he only killed one. I mean, still killing Han Solo is insane. But like,
Yeah,
Harrison Ford is happy he got killed.
Yeah, he was done.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was done.
Well, for those of you on our live stream, we're gonna end it now. You guys can listen on YouTube to see the end of it. See our Dinker Stink memes that are always hilarious. And
Yeah, go ahead and make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel. And we did just upload our Spider-Man PS4 honest review. It's a good one. Go check it out.
Yeah, subscribe, like the video. It'd be great. Peace.
Bye, everybody.
All right. So, welcome back, those of you that were on the Instagram live stream that wanted to get the rest of this episode.
What up, Pulse Peeps?
What's up, my Pulse Peeps? Hey, Logan Pollers.
Hey, Jake Paul.
Hey, Jake Pollers.
It's a low gang.
Low gang.
The low gang or the Jake Paul.
Mr. Beast, if you're watching this, like,
Subscribe
send
to
like
PewDiePie.
10K over here, please.
Yeah.
How do I get sponsored by Honey? Honey, we'll do things for you. Okay.
Not sponsored, but wanna be.
Demonetization. Da, da, da. We have 12 subscribers. Okay.
great.
Ooh, wait, we may have more now.
Moving on.
More about Rogue One now.
Another thing about Rogue One that I thought was good, opposed to like episodes 7 and 8, there aren't like super insane, impractical events that happen, like that aren't directly tied to like what Star Wars is. There's just a bunch of like mumbo jumbo in the newer 7 and 8 that just shouldn't be in there.
Oh, it's still 12 subscribers.
It's okay. We'll get
It'll
better.
be fun.
Yeah.
If we don't have 100 by the end of the day,
I'm off the podcast.
yeah, this whole thing is going down.
I also really love that, and you guys can talk about this too, but I loved how well it like closed the gap between the original 6.
Yeah.
Like, holy
Yeah.
crap.
So
I
good.
didn't realize, like, more than anything, what blew me away, like, I didn't even put it together at all, but then when I saw the movie, like, it picks up, like, not even a minute after, like A New Hope picks up not
It's
even a minute.
literally right
after.
there.
And that for some reason, I don't know why, like, it made sense because I knew it took place in that time,
Yeah.
but for some reason, it just blew me away. I don't know why, but I think it's just because I wasn't expecting it.
No one was.
That
Yeah.
little ship takes off, and that
That's a
Star
start.
Destroyer
That's-
that takes off after it. That's episode
Yeah,
4.
because
right there.
because the first
Boom. Star Wars.
Right.
yeah because the first in New Hope, right? Doesn't it show it coming out of hyperspeed, or right?
No, in A New
Lightsaber?
Hope, they're just floating by and it's getting shot at. And
That's
they're-
right. Okay.
It's literally like seconds after.
Yeah.
And like
Rogue
I
One.
just thought that was so cool,
Yeah.
and I was like, wait, that's right.
And the thing is, like, people that like watched Star Wars when it originally came out in like 80 whatever,
79.
79, they really appreciate that
Yeah.
because
And if you
it's-
really want to see the payoff, honestly, just like watch them back to back. Like, see if you could get it, like, get them lined up right, like one at a
Right.
time. Because I bet that'd be
Well,
so.
you'd have to
dope.
watch them a little bit at the same time, I think, because they're like going through the town,
I
and then
think
they
part
bump
of it
into
overlaps.
those two dudes.
yeah,
Like that story's developing, and then they kind of like eventually Luke and Ben get. Looped
Yeah, I think there's a
into
little bit
it
of
and
overlap.
whatnot.
In it.
Yeah.
Just like barely enough, but
I appreciate like when they're trying to find the what is it? The plans of the Death Star, and how like the first one they say is like what was it?
Blueprints.
Hyperspace tracking. Was that what it was?
that's another thing that,
For
that we
the
could totally
new
mention.
movies, because I was like, I remember watching it with you for like a year ago, and I remember you're like, what?
Because
And, like,
it happened in
freaking
The Last
out.
Jedi.
Yeah.
Because they track him through the
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Yeah, so it was definitely some foreshadowing there. Also, yeah, like that's really dope that they put that in Rogue One, because Rogue One obviously is set
Way before.
way before Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. And so when they put that in The Last Jedi,
It's got to be like what? Like
That was just-
70, 80 years.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
like
that
an
was-
insane amount
that was
of time.
such like props to you, Disney, for doing that. That was
Right. That was very attention to detail.
amazing.
Oh,
Amazing.
one thing I forgot to say when we're talking about like the whole Disney thing and that kind of stuff. So I've seen Solo, Star Wars story.
Is it good?
And I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot. It's probably my second. Honestly, it's probably my second favorite of the 4 that have come out. So it goes Rogue One, Solo, Force Awakens, then Last Jedi. But because I don't like the Last Jedi. But anyway,
not a lot of people do.
yeah. But so like it wasn't received. Like no one went and saw it. It was like it was kind of bad on Disney's part to like release it right in the window between Avengers Infinity War
Right.
and Deadpool 2. And like
Yeah.
not everybody's gonna see
Yeah.
a movie like 3 weeks in a row for the most part. So it wasn't seen a lot, but it caused them. It made like it to Disney. It bombed. Like it did super bad in the box office. But it's a good movie. It had nothing to
I
do
need
on
to
the
watch
movie.
it.
It was just people just didn't go out and see it. but it caused them to like take a step back because they were going to crank out movies every year and do what they've done with the MCU. But I'm super glad that they're like chilling back a little bit now, because if they tried.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, because I was going to say, because they're finishing Star Wars Land this January. So they're probably just like, okay, we can chill, because when that opens, then people are going to come and they're like, oh, we need to watch Star Wars again. Then they can bring out more after the
I
fact.
don't mind when things take time to like catch up to each other.
Come into
Like,
fruition and
like I finished, like, sorry, but Daredevil, when season 2 ended, it was like
next week.
It was like 2019 is when season 3 is supposed to come out, and I was like, frick, like 3 years or whatever. But then like the other shows caught up, and then they just put out season 3, and I was like, I like it when they do that, when everything else like catches up, and then they put stuff out.
Well, it's like, I mean, they're like, for example, with Infinity War, that's 10 years of anticipation for this movie.
Thanos was teased in the first Avengers, so that's like 6 years.
Yeah.
It was so crazy.
But they announced Thanos was coming in like Iron Man 2. Like they gave out some sort of like,
which
Disney
is
or
cool
whatever
because
was like, hey, we're doing Thanos, we're doing the story.
A lot of people don't like realize that too. And actually,
We
after we watched, was it Infinity War that we went back and watched everything?
Because I hadn't seen all of them, so we watched Infinity War and we literally watched them all backwards. No, I don't recommend doing that. It gets confusing because you're like, who's this? But then we watched them all back, and then I was like, what? In like the first Avengers, and then we watched Iron Man 1, I think, and they teased Thanos at the end of the ending clip, and I was like, wait, all the way back in Iron Man 1?
Yeah. So anyway, like that's just a really good example of like just waiting and building anticipation. And I think had they I think they're super smart for waiting to release Avengers 4 until after Captain Marvel and until after the second Spider-Man movie, and they're talking about a second Black Panther movie.
Oh, it's happening.
Please no.
So excited.
Yeah, the director and stuff is like, yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, and that's all happening before Avengers 4, which is...
But Black Panther isn't.
But like
Captain
Captain Marvel and Spider-Man...
Maybe instead of Black Panther 2, they can uncancel Daredevil, because Black
Thanks,
Panther's
Disney.
trash.
But you
We
think Black
hate you.
Don't
Panther's
at me.
trash?
Yeah, that's
You're the reason why we won't have subscribers.
That's a different
You are the
episode.
reason, because
Because of my negativity.
You're going to be the reason we have a thing called negative comments in the comment section.
I'll read them all, and I will appreciate.
How about this? If we get 75 million likes, we will kick Levi off the show because of that.
Like these videos, subscribe.
Yo, so
It has to
like
be
this
this-
video,
Somebody shares this on Twitter. It gets 75 million. You're just like,
Sorry,
okay,
Levi.
Sorry, dude.
and then like a year from now we're monetized, and you're just looking back at them. I'm like, shouldn't have said Black Panther sucks.
No.
That was the moment.
Still sucks.
But we're
Just at
talking
this
about
moment,
Rogue
Levi
One.
knew.
So
Yeah,
Back to Star Wars.
I think I was saying was like, I'm glad that they're not doing what they've done with the Marvel movies of cranking them out like 3 a year, 2 a year, one every year.
yeah, well they actually they have a policy where they can't release a big picture in the same month as another one.
Yeah, no, they have it, but like,
They compete.
but like, because the way they had it timed out was movies every year, and they usually in December is that they've had them. But I'm glad that they're not, because I feel like it gives them more time. So they're not rushed. It gives them more time to make quality films over quantity. I wish like yeah, exactly, not rush stories, because I definitely want quality over quantity. If it takes 3 years to make a really good Star Wars movie, I will wait those 3 years.
You want it done right, not
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool. I mean, I didn't really watch Star Wars until The Last Jedi. Is that the first one that came out recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I didn't watch it until, like, any of the Star Wars movies until The Last Jedi came out. And so, like, I was like, if someone had to wait, like, this long, because the quality of film definitely, like, increased after.
Yeah.
The fact,
there are
like,
definitely
when-
some people who haven't seen past episode 6 because they died,
Right.
but they liked it.
Right.
Well, I mean, if you look at The Dark Knight Rises, came out 4 years after The Dark Knight, because it was 2008 was The Dark Knight, and then Dark Knight Rises, that was 4 years.
Well, Batman Begins was in 2005.
So that was 3 years to that, 4 years, like, and like,
It's a good
at
amount
those.
of time.
We can look
and
it up.
look at those. Those are like the greatest superhero trilogy of all time.
Actually, don't look it up. The first comment to say which year it is and look it up right now and put that there will pin you.
Will pin ya.
We'll pin
Do you guys
ya.
watch
Pin
How
ya.
Ridiculous?
No, I have no idea.
Aw, you have to watch.
We'll
If you
pin
don't.
you down in the comments.
It'd be great.
First time stamp that gets it right, we'll pin you. Yeah, so they're just doing. I don't know. I didn't think they did a very good job with the waiting on, like, between episode 7 and episode 8. I think they should have waited a lot longer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you look at the original trilogy, I think even the
Oh, they're
prequels-
like 10 years apart.
Just
like-
the
it's like
first
five- it's
hour
5
of
years-
episode
5 to
8.
10 years apart.
It's 5 years between. I think it's almost 5 years between episode 4 and 5 of New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. It might be 4 years, but like still, like it's.
Granted, they also needed more time because they didn't have as many resources.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
CGI wasn't really a thing.
They didn't have a choice but to take that long.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is what we'll do. That's a lot of stuff that we really loved about the movie, and we will get to a few things that we didn't like. There's not a whole lot, but there are some things. But right now, we're gonna go to our dank or stank
Whoop, whoop.
Take a little break.
Can't say it, but
section,
10 times this
and
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
give us
keep
a little
sending
break.
us your questions, and if you have memes that you want, DM us on
Ooh,
Instagram.
We can have a
And-
viewer meme.
we'll have a meme off.
Yeah, it'd be great. Please, because I
Wing it.
think they're hilarious. Do you have a bell for me?
Wait, so Emily hasn't seen the ones I've sent, right?
No, I haven't seen any of them. He wouldn't show me. I'm super excited. Okay, if I have to read these though, I'm gonna have to lean forward.
Okay.
For those who don't know, the TV's like right here.
Yeah.
Just so you know, that's why we look over here.
If you look in the lower part.
All right. So here is
First one.
here's the first. Again, just to remind you of the rules.
Okay.
We'll show. There's 3 rounds. We'll show 3 memes per round. You have to say which out of the 3 in the round is the dankest.
Okay.
And then at the end, whoever has the most dank points gets dankest meme.
I won
Sick.
last week.
Levi won
the
last week. Grant
before.
won the week before.
So Colin, I think you're due, but we'll see.
I need things.
She needs the confidence.
Okay, here we go. Here's the first meme.
I'm so ready.
I was gonna send this one. Yeah.
Oh, the kid is so sad.
I could just because like I've sat in that position before. Like,
You're like,
Okay.
"Oh."
Okay, well now we know.
You ready? Next one.
That's fine.
Ready for
I
the
do.
next one, Em?
Yeah, I'm ready. So, hey, you can't do it. It's okay. The eyebrows. The eyebrows on that dog.
drawn.
We got a dog and a
I
cat.
know a friend of mine. He like draws eyebrows on his dog.
Don't do that. Okay, number 3. This one's so good.
Okay, it's like, what's that from? Is that from anything?
It's the black.
Oh
You
my-
don't.
the black
oh my
plague.
god, Black Death, dude.
It's not funny to her.
I get it now. Okay,
And it's
okay.
just
Okay,
like-
Okay, this one's gonna be a hard one.
Took me a
I thought
second.
this was gonna be a definitive
No,
winner.
no.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, hang on. Okay. Okay.
Oh gosh,
I love the cat.
the cat one's so funny.
Yeah, the cat wins on me.
Okay,
Number
and
one.
that's
Oh,
Levi's.
they're all animal ones. I just
They
realized.
are.
Did you do that on purpose? The animals?
Next
Oh,
No. Okay.
Nice job.
all right. Round 2, meme number 1.
This
What?
is. Who found this? Who is this?
Oh,
Like,
my
don't
still
identify yourself, but you
breathing.
found an artifact.
She
I remember
has my-
seeing
Oh,
this
I
when
get it.
I was
Okay.
like
It
when I was
took
like
me
a
a second. I'm sorry.
sophomore.
These take me a little longer than
Did
they should.
Nicolas Cage find this
Whoever's
one?
meme
Did
this
he-
is.
Okay,
Artifact.
number 2.
Photo of a shark stepping on a lake. I can't love that meme. I've seen them before.
Look at the right. It says puberty.
I was at the tag
What?
for it. It's like the
Oh.
tag that
Puberty
person.
at
Oh.
puberty.
Okay, number 3.
job, pal.
I briefly saw this from like his computer. I'm like, is that Lord Farquaad?
I don't.
Yeah, you
I
know
don't
it.
get this one.
By the way,
It's fantastic.
it's pretty funny.
I don't know. It's just drawn
I'm
on.
naming
and
my
you-
first dog Farquaad.
It's
Like,
Tyler.
that's a
Okay,
legit thing.
out of
I'm
those
just throwing
3,
that
which
out.
one's the
I don't know.
funniest?
Farquaad's not funny, but also funny because it's Lord Farquaad. Oh wow. The first 2 are so hard. Okay, hang on.
Oof.
I think the second one wins because I think
Ooh.
it's so funny. I've
And
seen
that's
it
Grant's.
before.
Looks like we're coming
Who
up.
was number 1? Is that
Me,
Levi's?
that was mine.
yours. Sorry, babe.
Looks like we're coming up to
Round 3.
Round 3.
a similar situation as last week.
Oh, okay.
Round 3.
1984. It's a good George Orwell reference. There.
That is a great book.
Yeah. I mean.
Do you understand this?
Yeah, I get it.
Dude.
No, I don't. Explain it. I thought I did.
Dang. Yeah, I get it. She says without laughing. Then
Okay,
you
number
don't get
I
it.
don't
2.
think it's, I'm sorry. Oh, that one. That's funny. Oh, that's funny.
Okay, number 3. Do you know what that is?
Doothy bag. Doothy bag.
Mike Tyson. Remember he has a lisp.
Mike Tyson.
Oh, okay.
If Savage.
Oh,
He's the
shit.
one that bit off the dude's ear, right? That was Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He bit off Evander Holyfield.
Okay, the second one win. Like.
2 weeks in a row,
All right.
Levi.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
Levi.
Levi. I'm sorry.
Boo.
I had to
Straight boo.
You didn't like the Chuck E. Cheese?
I had to
Plague
read down the
That-
dude.
she
me
didn't
and
get it,
Grant-
bro.
Me and
I
Colin
got
were like,
it. I'm sorry.
it.
me and Colin saw that. We were
Okay, I
like,
don't
dude, that's a
understand the Mark
win
Zuckerberg
right there.
one.
We were laughing so hard.
I thought that would win,
That was,
bro.
dude. That was.
I'm sorry. You have
if I
to
was-
think. You have to think girl humor. If you were
I thought that was-
judging from
I thought
here.
Apparently, I'm really good at it.
Bro, I
You
couldn't.
just get it
have it.
right when it like
He's got the memes, but not the girl.
Got
both of them do. So.
Because I spent too much time. That's why I deleted Instagram. I found all those memes in
I
5 minutes.
I could not
Amazing.
handle the Chuck E. Cheese one.
That's
Yeah.
so
That was-
good,
It
bro.
took me, I didn't really realize what it was referring to. I think that because I was like,
Do you not pay
assuming it-
attention in history class?
I mean, in middle
Obviously
school, kind of,
not.
Dude.
I sucked at history. Guys.
Yeah.
I was
Wiped
kind of
out.
mad.
Obviously.
Wiped out a third. I was like, I think that's
All right,
actually accurate. Like,
Yeah.
What do you guys think? What do you think out of those memes were indeed the
think I had
dankest?
good?
Which ones were hilarious? And is Emily a good
Fair
opinion
judge.
for this
I
one?
suck.
Do we need to replace her?
Yeah.
Is this what-
Please don't replace me. It's the only thing I get to do.
Yeah. So, and if you guys want to go ahead and send in some memes that you think that we should do, go ahead and send us a meme, and with the meme, write.
when you send in a meme, all of us will vote whether or not it's dank or stink.
Yeah, we'll vote if it's dank or stank. We'll choose 3 memes from that.
Yes.
We'll go on the
Yeah.
Insta story,
And we'll,
the honorable mention goes in the,
We'll mention
in the
you guys.
video.
Okay, so back to Rogue One. Things that we didn't like about it. Not a whole lot.
I didn't like that
But there
everybody
are things.
died.
But
Yeah.
but could you
I
argue
liked
that?
all the characters.
Wasn't like that
But
kind
could
of
you
the point?
argue that that's good because they made good characters that you didn't want to die?
I think that's true. I also think it's good because it made it more of a standalone movie.
Yeah.
And it didn't it had nothing to do with, I mean, obviously it had everything to do with the entire Star Wars franchise, but it it
No
wasn't
characters blood over.
it
I mean,
no characters bled over. It wasn't linked to episode 7 and 8. You know,
None
it
of the
was
characters bled. They blew up.
it was
I honestly was thinking of a joke, something like that. I'm thinking of something.
but it doesn't, you know, it's just better and like the best out of the 3 newer Star Wars movies because it doesn't
There's 4.
Yeah.
4 with Solo. But
Anyway.
explain your reasoning with the character dying off. Why you didn't like it?
Because I like characters. I want to see them more. Like, that's it. It's
You just get
simple.
invested.
So
in
how
their
did you
stories
total
and
Infinity
stuff.
War?
Would-
I'm just like,
would
I
you-
didn't like it at all. My favorite superhero of all time freaking died.
Oh, yeah, you found out. Spoiler
Mr.
alert! You found out
Stark?
that Spider-Man died before you even saw the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did
Remember-
too because I followed
you
too
were
many
saying that
meme
too.
pages
Yeah.
and they spoiled it. I was like,
I was like,
Are you kidding me?
who died? Then I was like, all right, I'm done. And then I was like, Spider-Man.
So, but here's a question: would you have rather?
Hello.
what's that?
It's a bike thing.
It's a bell.
Um, would you have rather seen those characters die, or would you have rather seen them in a new Star Wars movie after Rogue One?
I'd rather see him as
How would you continue the story with them?
just have them be like advisors or something like that, or more espionage.
So you'd like see them like from their side with like the older episodes.
Yeah, like if they got out, they could go do more like espionage or whatever, you know.
Okay.
Wouldn't it
terrorize
be
and stuff.
hard to
They could do-
continue them?
Oh no, that could
Like
be
it'd be cool, like
if they did if they were doing like secret missions that obviously weren't as important
Yeah.
as what was going on in New Hope. You know,
Like
blowing
the
up the Death
Jedi
Star.
But like
Yeah,
it shows like how it
adventures.
kind of ties into.
Yeah, I mean, it
things that
it
happen.
could show them getting
Right.
back, and it could show them
Like, if they
doing their own
lived-
mission.
That'd be cool.
like Luke Skywalker has Rogue Squadron, Jin and Cassian have their
Whatever.
little
They got their own
espionage group and go and sabotage.
I mean,
a
the
bunch of
thing
stuff.
with Disney is they like all of the old book
Metal
basically
Gear
everything-
Solid Star Wars.
But
Let's
they've
go.
they've basically everything that isn't from the TV shows like Clone Wars, Rebels, the movies, and a couple other things. They canned it and called it myths or like legends, but it's not actual canon,
Yeah.
and so none of it actually counts. So they basically have their whole new universe that which is a smart move in my opinion, because it allows them to just make up what they want and create their own things. Which I mean, you could count that good or bad. I think it's more of a good thing because they can just make up new Star Wars stories.
This is makeup crap.
I mean,
Darth Maul lived.
he did.
He got sewn back together.
He did.
through space.
In the Clone
Space-time
Wars and stuff like that,
continuum.
Darth Maul survived. He's actually alive.
Speaking
Like
of
that.
making up stuff, let's talk about the Rogue One call sign. Because the way that was created could have been done so much better.
We're
And what I'm talking about is when Scarif,
Oh,
or not Scarif,
that was when they
Rogue.
It was when they were taken off, wasn't it?
yeah, when they were taken off
From the rebel base.
from the
Can I get a
from the rebel base when they were doing that.
Departing.
They was it the rebel base?
I
Yeah.
thought so.
Yas?
Yeah, it was because they're like, oh, we gotta go, and then they're like, oh, who's leaving? And then
Yeah,
they're
but
like,
was it the
"Oh."
rebel base?
Yeah,
Yes, they're on Yavin 4.
yeah, because they
Okay.
they went back and
I
I'm
didn't
not
see that part of the movie, and I even remembered it.
I'm not well versed or cultured. Okay. Anyway, so basically, when they're taking off, they get a message coming in saying, "Who are you? Like, what's your call sign? Blah blah blah." And the pilot's like,
My call sign is Weeb on Black Ops 4.
"Squidwab."
Yeah.
But he's like, he hesitates and he says Rogue, and then he says Rogue One, and then the dude's like on the intercom thing, he's like, there isn't a Rogue One, and then he's like, Rogue One taking off, and then they just go away, and then like the scene is the ship like flying away, and then one of the rebel like turret guards
Outpost,
is
he's
like,
like-
the outpost is like, whoa, that's interesting, and like I think that's bogus. They should have been shot down or like stopped or something. Like you can't just make up a fake call sign
And then just peace out.
peace out. That doesn't work. If that was an Imperial base,
no, they would.
absolutely
They would've
not.
just shot
They
down.
would have been
This
shot
dude
down
made
and
up a
killed,
fake
burned.
Call sign and then dipped.
Say goodbye to your family. You're dead.
Okay.
That was very.
Very aggressive.
She already said goodbye.
Well, they all said goodbye. They got nuked. So
Well, her mom died earlier, and then her dad died in front of her, and she doesn't have a sister or anything, so she's like,
yeah. So that's one thing. I this is kind of going back to what I talked about before. Is I really like how Imwe, like how he fought, being blind and everything, being able to like sense the stormtroopers coming, and then he fights them and he absolutely destroys them. And then all of a sudden, after that, the rebels come in, and he just submits. Like he doesn't try.
It's not the rebels. It's that one dude's.
or not. Yeah.
Saul.
Gang.
Feel on it.
Well, even more so, he just submits. He doesn't
Yeah.
try and defend them.
Well, I think for that, I think he like knew that they were good. I think more than I think because if
That's
he's
fair. That's fair.
because I think like let's just go off the base. He's a Jedi. He knows a Jedi. He obviously knows what's going on, and he knows. He's aware of that gang.
gang.
Whatever they're doing, and I imagine he probably thought that he knew that they weren't gonna kill him,
Right.
And they knew that he probably believed
So
in
they
their
weren't
cause.
much of a threat.
Yeah, and he probably believed in their
So-
cause for the most part because they were destroying. If he's a Jedi, the stormtroopers were like destroying their temple and taking the kyber crystals, which
Yeah.
create the lightsabers.
That's true.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a good rebuttal. Appreciate that.
You.
Call this segment "Convincing Colin." Okay.
Get rebuttal. Get
So
Nate.
yeah, get
another
wrecked.
thing is
Shrek.
K2SO's technology far beyond its time in this time period,
Yeah.
because the droids back then in that time weren't as advanced as K2SO is. Which is, I mean, that's a little nitpicky thing, but again, there's not a whole lot wrong with
I
this
may have
movie.
thought of something else for that though. I wonder because C-3PO was created by Anakin. Obviously, Anakin doesn't have the resources that the Empire does.
That's true.
Yeah, but look at the droids that the Empire did have.
I don't remember. A lot
They
of
were
them.
twigs.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
Absolute
there's that one,
twigs.
That's right. Yeah, I remember there's a one droid. Yeah, because he looked like C-3PO and he was like silvery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so, I mean, K2SO is really cool, and he's freaking hilarious.
Oh, it's so
I
fun.
think he's my favorite droid.
And, like, I loved him, and I love that character, but... And I dig how he looks. I love how he looks and the tech behind, like, his character, but I just think it was... As, like, if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, it's not accurate.
Yeah.
So...
I think also if you're like a super hardcore Star Wars fan, you don't like any of these movies. If you're like I know people who are like hyper nerds about Star Wars. Like I'm a nerd about Star Wars, but like, and they don't like any of them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
That's
I mean,
really
if you're a
sad.
nerd
You're
about
gonna
Star
enjoy
Wars, you're
life.
probably watching this video right now.
It's true.
My boy
so-
Dennis, he does not like.
Dennis!
double whip.
Double,
Nice. It's been
double
a
whip,
while.
dip, flip.
No.
Flip, tip, kick, flip.
Yeah. Just something like with the something that I've been kind of annoyed with what they've been doing with the Star Wars movies, these new ones, is they feel like they need to add a droid in every movie. They've had, I mean, BB-8's dope.
It's kind of a staple,
so
like a new
cool.
Ewok, pom Popius, whatever they are.
Popius? What?
No,
but
what are they in Episode 8? The stupid fur babies.
Oh, the porgs.
The fur
Porgs.
babies.
Porgs.
Okay, something funny. So I went to Disneyland for a family vacation, and I got a porg, and I went and met Chewbacca, and I gave it to him to eat it. I thought it was pretty funny. Anyway,
That's awesome. Anyway, you're saying like they're doing the same with droids.
So they've had BB-8. I think BB-8's dope. I mean, he's kind of like the new R2-D2. He like has a function to doing things and that kind of stuff, and he's dope. K2SO is dope, but they didn't really have a new one in The Last Jedi.
No, they
right?
had BB-8.
They just had BB-8 again, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
BB-8, R2, and C-3PO.
Yeah, but like in Solo, they have this other droid, and it's super weird. I'm not gonna like just talk about it, but like they add another droid in there, and it has a little, like it's kind of funny, but at the same time, I'm like, there's no point for that droid. And it was just like, I'm like, I just kind of just got like the droid fatigue of them just like, why do they need to add a droid in every story? There doesn't need to be a droid in every story.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, I feel like they could have taken it out and it would have just been fine.
It's almost like it's a sub character, like a sidekick kind of thing. Like with every superhero movie, you have to have a sidekick.
Yeah,
almost.
and also for that, the same argument you can make for K2SO because it takes place. It takes place in an episode like the Solo takes place, I think, before episode 3. I want to say.
Huh?
Solo takes place. I think it might be in between 3 and 4, like Revenge of the Sith, and New Hope, or it's before 3. I don't honestly remember. I'd have to look up a timeline of it. But there's so it's even older than Rogue One. I know that.
Yeah.
And that droid talks and functions and does all the stuff that like K2 does. So there's also that complaint again of it not lining up with being its advancements.
Also, like pointing at like the unnecessariness of droids, and we were talking about this before watching the movie. K2 is kind of just a comedic relief.
Yeah.
Which is great. I think
because it's done well, you know.
Well, also I think he's like the only comedy in the movie.
Yeah.
If you
pretty
didn't
dark,
have,
it's a pretty dark.
If
movie
you didn't
overall.
have K2, you really there really isn't any comedy. So I can see why they wanted to like make like the main characters and everybody else take on a very dramatic and serious role, and then like by trying to like shove a comedic something in there without like ruining the characters, they do a droid, which is understandable.
Yeah.
It's a good way of doing it. It's a clever way of doing it, and I'm not opposed to K2. I think he's hilarious. Had he not like been sarcastic and like always running statistics, and just being a droid helping them, I think I would have hated having him in the movie.
Yeah.
Did you know that was me?
Also, he one of his funny quotes, he says, "I find that answer vague and unconvincing." And then when the stormtrooper, in the same scene that we were kind of talking about before, when he asks about Jin and Cassian being prisoners, and the stormtrooper like tells K2 to take them as prisoners, he's like, "Yes, I am taking them as prisoners in prison." just super funny. So
I looked it up. Solo takes place in between Revenge of the Sith and Rogue One, so it takes place. Yeah,
cool. Just a few more points here. One thing is that I personally don't like that Jin reunites with Galen only to watch him die, which I guess adds some really, really good dramatic and emotional feel to the movie, which is I think it's a beautiful and wonderful part of the plot, and it's kind of bittersweet. It's both, which I think it's meant to be that way. I would have liked to see Jin kind of work with Galen a little bit longer, like
because that would have been cool.
Hey, tell me about the plans. Like, tell me exactly.
Like, what's it called?
Instead of her looking up the plans and like figuring out on her own, like working with Galen for like
it could be
10 minutes or something.
It could have been tense too if like somehow he escaped. They found out it wasn't him and that kind of stuff. Who like secretly like sold the plan or like leak the plans, and then him be back working in it,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff, and be in communication with Jin, because that would have been cool. But then
Yeah.
maybe them find out, and then they kill him when they find out, because it could have been some tense stuff of him.
Or like they're working together, or like they're taking cover, and he turns around and is like, blah blah blah, blah, gives information, and then like the typical like they blow up, and then she lives, he dies type deal.
Yeah.
Or like
It would have been different for sure.
Yeah.
or at least just like add more. Maybe have all of the scene play out, but maybe have some more time of him, like him dying longer.
Yeah.
So he can like have more. Like I know it sounds really dark. Like I want you to die longer,
For like 2 hours.
but like have it so that way she can like see her dad more.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah, because like as a viewer, we want her to be able to see him, even if it's for like 10, 20 minutes.
I mean, because also Galen thinks she's dead.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
on
Jin
both
knows he's alive.
on both parties, it's a very intense reunion. I almost said reunition.
I can feel that coming from your mouth.
Reunion.
Onion.
Yeah. Well, overall, the movie was very good. Easily one of the best. I personally rank it as my second favorite Star Wars movie, period, out of all of the Star Wars
We
movies.
should talk about at some point our favorite ones.
Yeah.
right now.
My favorite
I couldn't do it right now. I'd have to.
my favorite overall is Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
That's weird. I've never heard someone say that.
It's so good.
I
It's
like
good.
Revenge of the Sith.
great.
There's so much action.
It's
It's-
easily
it's-
the best of the
I think
prequels.
it's the peak of the prequels.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's what it's building up to.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
I do
that's
think
why I
it's-
love it.
It is. It is actually. I do like that one quite a bit. But
Um,
I've never heard them say that's the.
Well, it's the peak of all of the original ones too. So, like,
Yeah, that's true.
because it is literally the last
Revenge of the Sith.
chronologically based movie in that series
Mm-hmm.
before we get episode 7. So I don't know, it's really good. So yeah, our review, I would probably give this movie a 9, honestly. 9 out of 10.
I give it like.
Out of all Star Wars,
Out of-
or just in movies in general?
Movies, period. I think it's a very good movie.
8.5.
I'd give it a 9.
I give it like an 8.3, 8.2. I like it a lot. It's really good.
Emily,
Since I
What do you think?
actually watched this one,
Woo.
I don't. Okay, I have a different scale of movies, so I'd probably say.
she
about
also
an 8.
watches not these kind of movies.
I like comedies
different
and I like
scale.
romantic comedies. I like romantic
Rom-coms.
And this is
And
why
I'm a
she's
lady.
our unbiased opinion.
because I know
Case
hardly
in point.
anything. But I do like a lot of the Star Wars and Marvel movies, so about an 8.
So like an 8.7 overall average. Very good movie. Highly
Wow.
if you haven't seen this movie,
What are you doing?
are you living under a rock?
Because
Because
it's good.
it's such a good
Been
movie.
out 2 years now.
It's on Netflix, so go watch it. It's free on. Well, it's not free if you pay for Netflix, but like,
Pay for Netflix.
You're out of excuses.
yeah. I mean, if you're a student, Netflix is like.
You're
Just
jam.
torrent it.
Make your parents pay for it.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I
Sorry,
don't pay for
I'm
Netflix.
not
I just
condoning pirate.
don't.
movie.
Yeah.
Piracy is
Don't
not a
pirate stuff.
victimless crime.
Amen. But once
Go,
you do
go watch the movie. It's amazing. And then maybe come back and watch this video again and kind of look at the things of what you think about it. And if you've already seen the movie, leave a comment down below of things that you really loved about the movie, what you didn't like about the movie. If we hit everything right on the head, or if there's things that we said that you didn't agree with. Also, make sure you subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell because YouTube doesn't like to notify you if you're just a subscriber. So make sure you do that.
Share it.
Share this video, spread the word. Yeah. Follow us on
Spread
Instagram
word
at
for
the
your fellow
GLC Show.
nerds.
At the GLC Show on Instagram so that you can, spread the word for your fellow nerds.
Yeah.
That's a good one. But just
I want to
Yeah.
die.
Send us
stay
your-
tuned.
send us
Stay
your
tuned
memes.
for next Saturday. We are going to be talking about
Daredevil.
Daredevil,
Boom, boom.
specifically the Netflix series.
I got to do a lot of homework.
Yeah, you do.
So
Season
I'll do it
3
again.
we might hint at the movie,
Repeat.
but probably
What movie?
yeah.
The
We-
piece of trash.
That
We might
wasn't
talk
a
about the movie.
That wasn't a movie.
No. So yeah.
All
Great
right.
Just
episode,
a
Rogue
show.
One, amazing movie. Go check it out and go watch our Spider-Man PS4 review. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye, Jake Paulers. See ya, Jake Paulers.